Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. Up to date on the young and the restless. Summer reveals her mother is missing. Victor gives Lily inside information, and Lily agrees to dinner with Damian. Claire arrives at Crimson Lights and joins Kyle. She hands him a gift to apologize for the way her grandfather treated him last night. Kyle opens the box, it's earbuds. She tells Anne Victor's criticisms aren't warranted. He loves them and kisses her. Claire feels bad about talking him into dinner given. It's obvious now that Victor won't give them a chance. Kyle didn't expect it. The Che was for her benefit last night. Claire says it didn't work. She complains that even Nikki couldn't persuade him. Kyle expected it. He warned her that he hates his father and the Abbott family. It's trickled down to him. Kyle vows he won't scare him off, but Victor is relentless. He'll turn on the pressure until she finally throws up her hands and gives in. Victor welcomes Lily into the ranch and she muses. So you said you had information about Damon Kane. Victor tells her he had a mirror in the business world. One might call it an overnight success. He's an interesting fellow, but a serious chap. He hopes the information he gives her will ease the tension between them. Lily wants to hear the info first. Victor tells her about the two companies he owns. He came to Los Angeles years ago without means. Lily asks how he built the companies. Victor says he didn't build them, he took them over. She asks with what means. Victor replies that's the mystery. Lily frowns. So Damon Kane took over two successful companies with no money. Victor says he was granted ownership on paper. The real owner is Aristotle Dooms. Lily recalls that the author of The Count of Monte Cristo was Alexander Dooms. Victor says Damian runs the companies through a corporation called Arabesque. Victor explains that this Doomis is always ahead of the fluctuations in the market. Either he's a brilliant businessman or he's up to some suspicious activities. Lightly thanks Victor for answering her questions, although she feels like she knows less about Damon now. Victor asks about her interest in the man. What are you getting yourself into at Nate's place? He hopes Damon's arrival means he's reconsidered his position on his mother and on him too. Damon isn't sure about all that, but he's been thinking about it. He'd like to talk to his mother alone. Nate has a meeting to get to and tells them to take all the time they need. Amy assures him she'll be fine. Nate tells Damian he'd like to have a conversation too before he leaves. Damon nods. You're next on my list. Nate exits, and Damian asks Amy what she expects. What does she want from him? Amy doesn't know what she have done with Nate and Audra. Damon tells her that her answer to his question could decide everything going forward. All she wants is what she already asked for forgiveness. She wants to know that when she says goodbye to her son, they're okay again. She'd like him and Nate to get to know each other and maybe care for each other. Damian warns that would take more than a couple of days, if it even happens. Right now, let's just focus on you and me right now. Amy and Damon could tell her right now that he forgives her and that he's sorry he left her. Then what, she dies there or in Chicago without him saying he forgives her is cheap. He thinks what she really wants is for him to stay with her until the end and comfort her until she passes. At least be honest with me, Mom. At least give me the truth. Amy would never ask him to upend his life for her. It would give her comfort for him to be with her at the end, but she wouldn't expect it from him. Damon asks how she'd know he was being sincere if he said he forgave her. Amy knows him. Damian says, you knew me not so much anymore. Amy tells him that when he has children, he'll understand. All she has to do is look in his eyes, and she'll see the truth. You can't break that bond. Tearing up, Damon says that's probably true. Amy asks if he can find it in his heart to forgive her. She can't understand how they ended up so far apart. What did she do that was so wrong? Damon hollers, you let my father die. Now it feels like she's taken him away all over again. That's why Amy always suspected her son blamed her for Jackson dying. Damian's not blaming her for the disease, but for being so cold and detached at the end. Amy argues that's not what I was doing. But he argues that's what it looked like. You just went on about your life, going on with your life, like it was business. As usual, Amy can't believe she is hearing this. Damian reveals that he used to skip school to stay home. His dad so he wasn't alone if he felt her absence. Jackson must have to. That's my reason. I was just a kid, Mom, and you left me alone to watch my father die. And Amy sighed. Does he want to know why she was pulling herself away every day? Damon nods yes. Amy tells him, Damian, we didn't have insurance, and that was on your father. He let the policy lapse, so I had to get a second job to pay the bills. Even that wasn't enough. She cries that she wasn't shut off or detached. She did everything she had to do to keep him alive as long as possible. Damian didn't know money was so tight. Amy says a parent doesn't share that with a child. She had to be strong for both of them. All Damian wanted was her to be there, to hug him, to hug them. Both. Amy cries, I would have fallen apart. I just couldn't. She tells him his father knew the end was coming like she does now. He needed to know she could keep the family going, knowing she hurt him because of that decision, and that he hates her for it. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Damon just remembers her being gone, but he guesses he was so focused on his dad he didn't pay attention to what she was going through. He saw sorry, Amy, sorry for not being there. Damian can't end years of resentment in one conversation, especially with the revelation that Jackson wasn't his father, and some stranger named Nathan Hastings was. She didn't need to tell him. Amy couldn't go on with him hating her and thinking she didn't care for Jackson, the man she loved and adored. Damian says and lied to Amy. Asks Damian to try and understand. Damian is trying, but it will take some time. Amy cries, I don't have much time left, honey. Damian is sorry, but that's how it has to be right now. Amy asks him to promise one thing. If he can't take these last steps with her, will he tell her in person? Damian nods, yeah, I'll do that. Amy asks if she can hug him, the one that you wanted so long ago. Damian reluctantly accepts it. At Crimson Lights, Claire is surprised. Kyle will even suggest she give up on them. Kyle says Victor will hammer away until she can't take it anymore. CLA insists that won't happen. She reminds him she grew up with someone who controlled her. She didn't escape that prison to jump into another one with her grandfather. If he can embrace this, that's his problem. I'm not going anywhere. Kyle smiles. Victor can only break them up if they allow him to. Neither will give him the satisfaction. They kiss. Summer enters the coffee house, texting her mom again. Kyle at the counter asks if everything is okay. Summer says her mother is missing.